What's up guys, and welcome back to another video here on Wwe Wrestling. In today's video, I am going to be giving you guys my list of 100 WWE superstars who I think could take on one gorilla in a fight. Before we get into the video, if you guys are not already, make sure to subscribe and turn on post notifications so you don't miss any new uploads. And don't forget to leave a like on this video. Without further ado, let's make this list. Alright, so as you guys can see, we have the notepad up here, 100 wrestlers versus one gorilla. Now, instead of starting this off by just going with the huge WWE superstars, I'm going to go with a little bit of a different route. I'm going to start off with some factions, because with factions you have the teamwork. They work well together. And I feel like to start with the gorilla, you just throw the factions at them to weaken them down. And I think that's a great way to start. So I'm going to start off by putting the Shield. Get the Shield in there. I think that's a great start. Roman, Dean, and Seth. And just the way that they dominated the WWE through the PG era and took out everybody, and I mean everybody, I think they are the perfect group to go against a gorilla. Now, I probably will add like Tribal Chief Roman Reigns later as we go on. I'll probably add different versions of different superstars. So if I do that, just know it does count. We're not just saying Roman Reigns is in the Shield and that's it. No, we're going to do different characters or different gimmicks, I should say, for everybody in here. So we're going to start off with the Shield. Now, to back up the Shield, we're going to go with the NWO. That's a great one. We could just feed Hulk Hogan and the NWO to the gorilla. How about some Evolution, right? Yeah. Get the Evolution in there as well. Just thinking of great all-time factions. If we're feeding a faction to a gorilla to try to weaken them down, how about the Nexus? That's like the Nexus getting fed to John Cena. So I like that. Okay. Maybe we go with one more here, or maybe not. We got one more. D-Generation X. Yes. Yep. Okay. I think that's enough. That's 5 solid factions. To go at the gorilla, we would send them right at him to begin before we get into the more muscle of the group. So let's get into the muscle. How about Brock Lesnar? Lesnar might actually be able to take on the gorilla by himself. So Brock with 99 other people, that is going to be a scary sight. So Lesnar is definitely in here. How about Jacob Fatu? I mean, I think the gorilla actually might run away if he sees the Samoan werewolf just running at him. So definitely having Fatu in here. He is crazy. Let's stay on that route of the big fellas. Braun Strowman. Think I spelled that wrong? There we go. Braun Strowman, a huge behemoth of a man. So he's definitely in here. Mark Henry, the world's strongest man. Oops. Yeah, gotta have Mark Henry in here 1000%. Okay, I like where we're at. How about Big Show? The two giants of the PG era, Big Show and Mark Henry. Great Khali. Great Khali won't be the most mobile for us, but he will just be able to match the size. He'll be towering over the gorilla. So we got him there, and he can give us some devious chops. Speaking of chops, how about the Ring General Gunther? How about Gunther before he lost to Jey Uso? Let's put that in there. Yeah. Yeah. Because we don't want the Gunther that's tapping out in 5 seconds to his own damn sleeper move to Jey Uso. So have to include that. Braun Breaker. I mean, I don't have too much words for this one. This dude will just destroy a gorilla. He would spear the crap out of him. So, definitely, Braun Breaker is in here. Like what we got. How about we start diving into some older gimmicks, like 09 Randy Orton? Yeah. 09 Orton, the guy who was punt-kicking John Cena's dad, punt-kicking Stephanie McMahon. Did he punt-kick? I think he just RKO'd Stephanie, but he was doing some devious things. He was trying to blow up John Cena as well. He definitely has to be in here because he would not give it to him. He would just run straight at the gorilla. So 09 Randy is 1000% being included. And if we're talking about Randy, how about just 2025 Orton? Yeah, huge guy. Had to include that. Randy Orton is literally the biggest and strongest he's ever been in his career. So I feel like we have to also put him in there with 09 Orton. They're definitely two different kinds of guys, but would definitely add a lot to this group. So adding that. Now let's talk about Super Cena. Add him in there. I mean, this was when John Cena literally wasn't losing any matches, and he was just kicking out of 2 no matter how many finishers you did on him. So the Gorilla could try to do whatever he wants to Cena. John Cena's kicking out, and he's winning another championship. So Super Cena is definitely the right version of John Cena to include in here. Now, how about we go with Perk Angle? Or should I say Peak Angle? Gotta add Kurt Angle in here. During that era, he was doing some crazy stuff. Some like front flips off the stage. I don't know. He was on a different level. That was the best Kurt Angle has ever been in his entire career, and he just gave no damn about anything. So he is definitely in here as well. Now, let's go. How about the Brothers of Destruction? Undertaker and Kane. Yes, not Mayor Glenn Jacobs, but the Big Red Monster Kane. Gotta have the Brothers of Destruction in here. Not only were they just like the 2 scariest motherfuckers ever in WWE, but they're also just huge human beings. So them in their prime, definitely feel confident with them in there. So who else can we go with? Now, we definitely have more than 19 just because we have the Shield, NWO, Evolution, Nexus, Degeneration X. So we're going to probably not finish with 100 on this list. It'll be a little less than that, but it'll equal somewhere around 100. All right. How about we stay on the path of the big guys and we go with Omos. Omos is a huge human being. You know who else is a huge human being? Andre the Damn Giant. Yeah. Huge guy. Have to have him in there. Who else could we go with? Trying to think of present day. Just like a huge human being. I want to just say, honestly, like the entire bloodline. Okay, you know what? First, we'll say the Tribal Chief. Yeah. Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, because that dude was like unbeatable. But Tribal Chief Roman Reigns doesn't win if he doesn't have his entire bloodline. So let's just go ahead and put the entire bloodline in here. Yeah, everybody. That goes from Tama Tonga to Tonga Loa to Solo Sikoa with the Jimmy Uso to Jey Uso to Nia Jax, whoever you want. Rikishi. That is the entire bloodline. I probably should have put that up there with the factions, I guess, which we can still do. You know what? We'll do that just so it looks better. Oh, no, because never mind. We're not going to do that because whatever this notepad thing is won't allow me to adjust the numbers, so we're not going to do that. We're just going to keep them down here. Okay, entire bloodline. Now, who else could we go with? I honestly feel pretty confident just sending this crew in there, but we should add a little more. I'm trying to think of more strategic guys that have the brains and can see the vision, or the visionary, I should say. I think Seth Rollins is great. Seth Rollins obviously is a guy who doesn't have a ton of muscle, but he's got the brains. I mean, he convinced Paul Heyman to leave CM Punk and Roman Reigns for him, right? He won the main event of WrestleMania, so I think Seth's got to be in here. Might as well add the final boss in here as well, even though he might not show up to the fight with the Gorilla because he shows up whenever he wants, but that version of The Rock can be very dangerous, so if he does decide to show up, the Gorilla would have a tough problem with him. I guess that also goes into the entire bloodline, but it's whatever. All right, time to keep it going. Who do we want next? I mean, this is a lot of great guys that we have in here. I want to tally up the factions that we have as well on top of all we've added. So I am going to do that real quick. Okay. So we have a ton of people. So we really only need about like 5 or so more when you add up all the groups that we have with the Shield, NWO, Evolution, Nexus, Degeneration X, because Degeneration X, Nexus, and NWO have a ton of members. So honestly, I feel like we're close to the end, so I'm just gonna add a few more, and I think that we're gonna add our first female. We're gonna go with Rhea Ripley. Rhea could probably shred that gorilla, so she deserves to be in here. Somebody else that I forgot to mention also was Sheamus. How can I forget Sheamus? I mean, that guy's not afraid to get hit, right? He's not afraid to get chopped. You know, his chest is bright red after every match that he has. So I think that he is perfect for this. He wouldn't give a damn what the gorilla did to him. He would just keep getting back up. So Sheamus is perfect. Another guy, a sleeper, but a guy that has a background in mixed martial arts is Karrion Kross. Yeah. Karrion Kross is actually a huge human being, and there was like a viral video where he broke a bat with like his legs, I think. So definitely would feel more comfortable with Karrion Kross on my side. So definitely have to have him in there as well. Trying to think of a few more that we could add into this. We have a solid list though. We definitely do have a solid list. Okay, how about we go with somebody that is not afraid to just do whatever, right? Jeff Hardy. He might not be as huge as some of these guys on this list, but this guy will just go up a ladder and swanton bomb the hell out of a gorilla. So I think Jeff Hardy is a perfect guy that we need in here. We need that grit. We need guys that aren't afraid to do anything, like Perk Angle. That's another great example. So I think that works out. Okay, now maybe a few more that we can add in here, because this is definitely close to 100, because the NWO had like so many members, so I think that they're like the bulk of this actually. But it's alright, they're all just getting fed to the gorilla. Okay, so I have a few more that I want to add into here before we conclude this video. The first one being Drew McIntyre. Yeah, and we have to add current in parentheses because obviously we want the huge version of Drew McIntyre in here, the Scottish Warrior. We don't want 3MB Drew McIntyre. We need the current Drew McIntyre because he is a huge human being. He can bring his sword if he wants to and just start slicing up the gorilla. I'd be okay with that. How about Kevin Owens? Kind of like Jeff Hardy and Kurt Angle, we need somebody that's willing to just go crazy for us and do some swantons off of ladders and take crazy bumps. That's Kevin Owens. So I 100% think that he fits the mold to be in this group. I have two more. First one is a guy that is in NXT, and I'm so glad I remembered him, because if I would have finished this video and not remembered to put him on here, I would have been very upset. That's Obafemi. Obafemi is an unbelievable specimen of a human being. Dude is huge. So imagine just throwing like Obafemi. Who else do we have on here? Obafemi, Braun Strowman, Mark Henry, Jacob Fatu, Brock Lesnar. Imagine just throwing all of them at this gorilla. That would be insane. So he's got to be on here. And then to conclude the list, we are going to put Goldberg. Goldberg doesn't have too many fans, just because he was an unsafe wrestler. But when it comes to going against this gorilla, he can be as unsafe as he wants, because the goal is to kill the gorilla, I guess, right? So Goldberg fits this perfectly. You can have Goldberg and Braun Breaker coming for both sides, hitting this guy with a spear. Why not? He's a huge human being. Roids or not, doesn't matter. He's perfect for this list. Gotta have him there. So I don't know how many we exactly have because we have so many groups in here, but I'm going to assume that we have 100, maybe a little over 100. So that's fine. I think that this group could definitely take out one gorilla. I think that half of this group could take out one gorilla. Maybe just Brock Lesnar and Jacob Fatu, if we're being honest, could take out the gorilla. So I'm confident in this. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and don't forget to leave a comment down below what you guys want to see in the next video. Alright guys, that's going to do it. Peace.